Evening, everybody. I hope you're okay. I just wanted to talk to you today about confidence, and as people join the group, you can answer questions, as you'll know, and confidence was the top factor, I think, that affects everybody. And so I just wanted to talk to you and explore that a little bit because sometimes we think that confidence is something that we get rather than something that we create or that we become. And so I wanted to help you think about how you can create it and how you can kind of step into knowing what you want. So, hi Claire, thanks for joining. So this can be a bit of a question and answer. If you have any questions, just write them and I will answer as I go along and help you the way I can. So how does confidence affect you? What does it stop you doing? And what would you like to do that you're not doing already? And confidence comes from knowing who you are and what you want. And the challenge that a lot of us have or have had or do have is that we are in situations and environments that we try to fit in. And part of our human nature is to be part of a group and to be part of a tribe, which is amazing. But sometimes we create the tribes before we know who we are. So we end up blending or fitting in to whether it's our environment, whether it's work, whether it's friendships. And that can send you into confusion because we also get overwhelmed. And then you're in that cycle of confidence, overwhelm, uncertainty. And so this is to help you start to think where you have to start in order to create the confidence. And once I did a video called The Art of Being Alone. It's back in my videos on my main page and I can share it in here. I don't know if I did share it in here. I can share it in here if I haven't. Oh no, I put it on YouTube so I can share it with you. And the reason that it's important to figure out how to be on your own is because when you're on your own, your limiting thoughts and your beliefs and your worries appear. And this is what you want to happen. You want to explore what is it or who are you and what is it that you want, not anybody else, not influenced by anybody else, not asking anybody else's opinion either, but to stay in your own lane and to think, what do I want? And why do I want this? And confidence comes from knowing that you are choosing something for you and not because of anybody else. And if you depend on other people's opinions to say whether you're doing the right thing or not, that means that you do not trust yourself. So confidence comes from trusting you, what you want, and where you're going. And a lot of people don't know who they are, and so we try to fit in. We ask other people's opinions because we think that they're right and that you don't know enough. So we then counteract what we know and then talk ourselves into, well, we can't do it if they can't do it, or we can't be confident if they're having doubts and if they're not in the position that... So we start to then talk ourselves out of actually what we want to do. So confidence starts with trust, and it starts with regulating what are you saying to yourself, raising your intuition, and learning to trust your own judgment. And the way that you can do that is through meditation and through just having that space And I was going to do a little bit of you can listen back to this, and I was going to just say, like, if you sit on a chair with your feet on the ground and know that the only thing that's ever constant is the earth and our breath. And when you put your feet on the ground and just take some nice deep breaths in. So breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth. Close your eyes while you're doing this. Just breathe in through your mouth, in through your nose and out through your nose. And just feel your whole body just start to relax. And what you want to do is if you're confused and you don't know whether you should make a certain decision, or you haven't got the confidence you believe at this time to make certain decisions, you can sit with this. And the whole point of meditation is that you sit with your breath and you think of nothing else, and you ask your mind to go away and just focus on your breath and focus on the space kind of, underneath your eyes. If you're looking ahead, you can't see anything. You might have visions when you meditate. You might just see colours. You might not see anything. But the purpose is to still your mind. And the way that you do that is by focusing on your breath. And it might be that thoughts come in and out. And it might be that thoughts pop up. And if you've got a decision to make, and it's about whether you need the confidence in your mind, the confidence to make that decision, think about what it is that you really want. And so you can ask yourself, is this the right choice? Is this the right decision? And just by sitting with your breath for 5 minutes, you can put the timer on your phone and just breathe in and breathe out. And just keep breathing in and out, and you can play some music if you like, or just stay silent. And the longer that you practice this, to be okay with your thoughts and just being silent and just listening, focusing on your breath, and know that your mind will come in and out. That's absolutely normal. And then you just focus on your breath again, because the mind will attempt to distract you. The mind wants chaos. The mind wants to create fear. So the longer that you are focusing on your breath, just breathing in and out, in and out. And you can ask a question. What is the right move? What is the right decision? What will this mean for me? How can I get the confidence to make this decision? And you can just sit with the breath and sit with the breath. And you have to then trust that if the answer doesn't come up now, it will come up later. And you can ask for a sign, whether it's now or whether it's later. And you can say, please show me a sign or give me some guidance as to what the right path forward is. And you can say, the sign will be that someone will recommend something. If you're looking to start a new job, or I'm trying to think what you might want the confidence to start, whether it's a new job, whether it's money, whether it's relationships, whether it's confidence in yourself, whether it's speaking up, whatever it is that you want the confidence in, you can always trust that you will know the answer. And often or not, we don't ever sit with our thoughts and with ourselves because of the uncomfortableness that comes up. So it's always good to have a pen and paper handy. And when you sit with yourself and sit with your thoughts, just sit with your breath, ask a question. You can have an intention. So you can ask the intention and write it on the paper. And your intention could be that you would like to make a decision and feel confident in the decision that you make. And however that comes forward, it might be that someone gives you that information. It might be that you come across the information. And it might not be that the answer comes through meditation. But the whole point is that you can teach your mind to be quiet for 5 minutes by focusing on your breath, nothing else. And if a thought comes up and it's nothing to do with what you're thinking about, then you just say thank you for the thought and carry on with your breath. But sometimes the thought that comes up is a solution. Sometimes the thought that comes up is a person that you could speak to in order to get some information to help you with your decision. But often or not, we do not sit and think that we already know the answer. So this is a process that you can go through, and I'm happy to create a small meditation if you think it will help and if you're struggling with something specific, because you know the answers and you know what's right for you. But often we get distracted by noise that is around us. And that can be through other people, family, work, television, social media. And so we then get like a rabbit in headlights with, I don't know the decision. And then we get overwhelmed and then we think that we're not capable of making the decision. But the decision comes from trusting you, trusting that you know the answer, and being okay with sitting and experiencing what comes up for you, and just say, do you know what? The answer will come. If I cannot make a decision now, I can make a decision, but it might just be I need some more information. So this is about how you can regulate and raise your intuition, the trust for yourself, which will give you the confidence. I don't trust my judgment. Okay, that's good, Colette. Amazing. So sometimes we don't trust our judgment because of mistakes that we've made in the past. And that means that you're living in the past because of mistakes that you've made, rather than asking, what can I learn from that so it helps my judgment in the future? And that's not uncommon to have that belief, because it depends what that judgment is in. Is it in people? Is it in money? Is it in work? If it's in relationships and judgment, you don't trust your judgment with people that you allow into your life. I'm just making that up. I don't know too much, Colette, but if it is about relationships and judgment, or it can be anything. So judgment is your ability to make a decision based on what is best for you. And sometimes we make the judgment because we're trying to make other people happy and not ourselves. So this process of judging, either being able to judge, being able to trust, being able to know that you are making decisions that are in line with you, requires you to understand fully who you are, what you want, and where you're going in life. And this requires courage, it requires strength, and I suppose that's what I want to provide you with, is the strength to make them decisions and to know that you can learn to trust yourself. And it's okay to have been hurt, and it's okay to have doubts, and it's okay not to trust because of things that have gone on. But you have to learn to trust you. And if you think about, sometimes we ignore warning signs, we ignore things that are alerts, that are, is this a good situation? Should I judge this? Should I be, is this the right situation for me? And I'll give an example of myself. So if I've been really wanting a relationship, and that relationship fills my needs because it's uncertainty and it's exciting and it's it's beautiful. Like, being in a relationship can be beautiful, but we can often overlook, actually, this isn't right. But my need for the relationship and to feel something and to be in love and to have that attention was greater. So I ignored the signs. I ignored that this wasn't really right, and there was some of it that was a bit like, is this the type of person I want to be with? Probably not, but they've got all these other benefits and maybe they can change. And then we start justifying other people's behaviours, and we start to try and change other people's behaviours. And because we make this, I've made this wrong decision throughout my life, so I get it. But because you make it so often, you're like, oh my God, like, how can I even trust myself? I literally cannot make good decisions. So then we convince ourselves that because we've never made a good decision, that we can't make one. But you can. You have to learn to understand what you need in others, and be able to be okay to verbalize that, because we often feel uncomfortable by saying what we truly want and what we truly need. And then we just don't say anything because it might make you feel uncomfortable. So then you end up people pleasing, and you end up then putting yourself at the bottom of the pile, or maybe second, or don't prioritize yourself, because then now you've prioritized this person because you think that you have a duty or a need to ensure that you are meeting their needs before yours. So this whole process about trusting and confidence comes from knowing who you are, and that is what I can help you do. Feel free to reach out if this has brought up anything, or if this resonates. This is a journey that you're going to go through, and you can always work through the challenge. It's still in the units. There's day 1, day 2, up to day 5. If you're doing that, let me know and I can help you through the challenge. But this is the whole point, in that why I do this is because I lived unconsciously until I was 35, and I'm an intelligent woman. And then I thought, whoa, like, if I didn't know this, how are other people not understanding this and knowing this and exploring who they are, and why we have these emotional challenges, and why we can't communicate, and why we do put other people first and sacrifice ourselves? Like, why does this happen? And we're humans. By understanding why we do what we do, understanding our own personalities, understanding our own needs, our behaviours, we're able to be confident in saying, look, this is me. This is who I am. And when you understand that, then you can become more confident in what you want to do for work, who you want to spend your time with, what friends you want, what relationship you want, rather than just life happening to you and thinking, God, why is this such a mess? This is something that you can start to control. So the whole point is understanding your belief system. And your belief system is created when you're very young. So it's not your fault, but it's just helping you become aware of what is it that you're saying to yourself. And often when we have feelings like I'm not good enough, I'm not worthy, we settle. And we justify other people's negative behaviours. We justify people talking to us inappropriately. And in fact, you might not even justify it. It might just be normal. It was very normal to me. And that is just something that I thought, why am I accepting this relationship? Because I just thought that I was unlucky and that I was trying to fix what was in front of me. And that wasn't necessary. But life was happening to me and I was kind of firefighting. So every relationship or work, or I would just be like coping. And then it was overwhelmed because I would just keep myself busy all the time. So I didn't have to think about the pain that I was avoiding through drinking and partying and negative relationships that were toxic, but they were fulfilling something in me. They were making me feel something, which is something that I'd avoided for so long. So we find ways to bring out the emotion, and it can be in healthy ways, it can be in unhealthy ways. So if this has helped, let me know. And it's good to have this conversation, and thank you for being honest, Colette, that it's confidence comes with trust, and it comes from trusting yourself and understanding you. So you're not alone. No one is alone, and no one is better than anybody else. We're all at just different stages of our journey, and it's all just, we're all going to the same place. We're all like looking and trying to achieve that balance and trying to achieve happiness and fulfillment and in all areas of our life. So we don't have to sacrifice anything. This is about you finding ways that you can be happy, and be aware of what's going on in your mind, so you can start to attract more of the things that you want. Brilliant. Good. I'm pleased. So any questions, let me know. But I thought confidence was a big one. And if I've not covered anything, or if you've still got some questions, let me know, and I can reach out to you, and I can always do another live. But listen to this, and if you think that this will help anyone, please feel free to add them into the group, because this is about people moving forward and knowing that they have control, and knowing that it's baby steps every day. And I used to get so overwhelmed with everything that I needed to do, and had this like huge to-do list and this routine, and and now I just am able to be in flow. I'm able to be in control of my emotions, and I spend time and am very protective on who I spend my time with, because I know how impactful that others can be. And so I think it's sometimes we have this what's the word, like we have this duty to be the good friend, or to be the great family member, and that's great, and that can work. But sometimes we have to be conscious that sometimes them situations can be negative, and we have to be realistic, and we have to think about, it might not be, but it might be. And whilst you become stronger in understanding who you are, everybody is always a lesson. Like everybody that you meet and everybody that is in your life is a lesson. And whether that is family, and whether that is friends, and whether that's partners, you're exactly where you're meant to be. And we learn things so we can grow stronger. And you've removed many people from a circle too draining. Yeah. And we are the 5 people that we spend the most time with. And so when a friend disappears or leaves, or for whatever reason, you just think very carefully on who replaces that friend. And it's natural. It's natural to have that filter of friends. And to be honest, I spent quite a long time on my own, like a period of time on my own, because I had no idea who I was. I was such a people pleaser. I was so busy. I was always social. I was always organising. And then when you stop spending time with people, because you're focusing on you, you're focusing on where you're going, whether it's work, career, money, family, whatever it is, you'll find the people that separate from you and don't stick around weren't meant to be there. And that requires some strength to go, it's not me, it just is. It's not anything personal. It's not that you're not a good person. It's not that they're not a good person. It's just that you played a role in each other's lives. It was good for the time, and now it's time to move on. And that's just the way that life works. We're energy. We can gravitate, and when we think positively and surround ourselves with positively, stop gossiping, we could attract more positive things into our life. I stopped watching the news. I stopped watching a lot of television a long time ago, and that's just because my focus was in something different. And I get very distracted by things that are on the news and magazines, and it triggers things in my mind. And sometimes I don't want to be triggered. If I'm triggered, great. It makes me think, oh yeah, that's made me feel something. What is that? Like, why has that annoyed me? What's that made me feel? It's good to have that, but when it's unnecessary, it's like noise that's unnecessary. It's just chaos that's not needed. So you can protect your environment. It's going to allow you to move forward quicker. It's going to allow you to be stronger in what you believe and not have the doubts. And that is just a period of time where you become stronger in understanding you. So I'm glad this has helped. Any questions? This was only meant to be 15 minutes. Here I am rabbiting on. But yeah, any questions, let me know, and I will reach out. Drop me a message. I'd love to talk more. Thank you. Much love. Take care. Bye-bye.